Hey, I'm Felicia.
I'm Ryan.
And this is
IMZADI
Podcast.
Oh, it's good to do that again.
I know, I love it.
I know. We're doing Doctor Who this time.
Yeah!
We're doing Pyramids of Mars.
So many pyramids of Mars.
Doctor Who and the Pyramids of Mars!
So, tiny plot description there.
Yeah, that's the whole plot description, right? It's just three words. Pyramids of Mars.
Yeah, that's it.
All you need. That's all there is on the Wikipedia page, actually.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah, now. Good times, good times. So yeah, what is the plot?
Well, it's a Tom Baker story, and we got Sarah Jane in the mix. And they land in, I think it's 1911.
Yeah.
And they're actually in the Unit HQ building.
I know, that was weird.
Like beforehand. Yeah, we're gonna get into that
we will,
bit more. But yeah, there's some Egyptian plots.
Who's the Egyptian plots centered around? What's his name?
Sutek, what is this?
This is for people who don't know what the...
quizzing me?
Yeah. No, this is for people who don't know what the story is about. Because they don't... Like, you know how a lot of Doctor Who stories, they're like, the X of Y, and they usually put them on still, like Terror of the Vervoids.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why that was the first one that came to mind. That says a lot about me. But anyway...
yeah, it's like a headline, like you get it.
But in this one, it's Pyramids of Mars, which is an X of Y, but it says nothing about, like, the antagonist directly. Yeah. Anyway.
A Tale of Two Brothers.
A Tale of Two Brothers.
Sad story.
Oh my god.
And Dr. Warlock.
Dr. Warlock. Yeah.
The family friend.
I know.
Oh, that's the first one.
That's the first one. It's okay because I've had it exterminated. Anyway, I liked the guy in the fez. I thought it was really cool of them to like reference the Matt Smith era like that.
I know.
Really, really forward thinking.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I love it. All
right, let me pop.
So that was our attempt at a plot description.
Yeah, I thought that was all right.
I think we covered all the beats.
Yeah.
Every one of the beats. We covered, like, the one.
Well, I mean, because usually we have a structure to these things, so we're just going to start out, like, with the beginning.
And, you know, after the one, you know what we did then?
What?
We did the two.
Did we do 3?
We did do the 3, yeah, and then we did the 4 because this is a 4-part story. Anyway, let's go on to the general discussion episode, which is going to be the vast majority of this.
Is it a 4-part story?
Because we're messy.
Yeah, it is. No.
Messy. It's 4 parts, yes.
It is. Sorry.
It's a 4-part, it's a 3-act, 4-part story.
We, like, literally just watched it, too. That's, like, really bad.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible.
Alright, so we start out with, Scarman. Not to be confused with, Mr. Scarman.
Not to be confused with the intro to The Exorcist.
No relation.
No relation whatsoever.
So yeah, he discovers the Eye of Horus, and he goes in there.
Yeah. You know what the funniest part of that scene is? For me?
What?
When the eye starts glowing and all of the workers are just like, they run out because obviously they're scared, because you would be. Yeah. The professor is just like, superstitious fools, or something, and it's just like, this is a perfectly normal glowing eye.
Yeah, they definitely had electricity back then.
They did.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did, of course they did. 1911.
I meant in, like, Egyptian times.
Oh
my god.
Now I'm the dumb one.
Yeah.
This has turned on me terribly.
So, in my notes, I put, took 3 gentle taps to open 1,000-plus-year-old tomb. He had, like, a tiny pickaxe. Like, he was all by himself.
1,000-plus-year-old ancient alien tomb.
Yeah.
Just like,
and he was just... Yeah. The thing just cracked open. Like, it just slid open. Mm-hmm. Like, we were in Star Trek all of a sudden. Like, it just slid open. That's not how doors work.
Well,
I mean,
you see,
some doors.
you see, what happened was, right? It was a very, very clever reference to the fact that they couldn't afford to do a proper, like, spectacular effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, they spent all of their money on the dry ice.
Well, dry ice doesn't come cheap, you know.
But, like, honestly, I do love the effect that it gave, because when Scarman comes out of the sarcophagus,
Yes.
I felt like I wasn't gonna say that right, and I was, like, nervous. So when he steps, you actually see each step, like, there's smoke coming out of his shoes. And I find that really cool.
Yeah, that's true. I think the visuals in this one in general are really good.
Yeah,
Like, everyone
they
talks
are.
about the bad effects in Classic Who, but they don't talk enough about when it, like, lands.
I mean, there are a lot of bad effects.
I mean, yeah.
And there are a lot of, like, bumps in the head as well.
The torch.
Yeah.
When so Elizabeth Sladen bumps Tom Baker
Yeah.
right on the head at one
as
point
soon
with,
as he
like, a
wakes
lantern.
up. Yeah.
As soon as he wakes up, gets knocked right back
Yeah,
out.
she just pushes him right into it.
I know.
And there's a scene before that Tom Baker is with Dr. Warlock, and they're, like, laying low,
Yeah.
trying to avoid the
They, like, so
the
low.
mummies. Yeah,
Right?
yeah, they're, like,
The lowest.
super low to the ground.
Super low.
Why would you derail me?
I'm trying to give you, like, add some extra stuff to it, you know. You're providing the meat, I'm providing, like, the potatoes or the veg or whatever.
All right, so
But yeah, low to the ground. Dr. Warlock and...
oh yeah, okay. So Tom Baker tries to look up over the ledge or the ridge, whatever, and he leans on the shot, the wound, and the guy goes to, like, scream out in pain, and the doctor is just like, shh, shh, like, don't tell mom, like, like.
You're already making this very difficult for me.
But, like, throughout the whole 4 parts, there's just little hijinks like that.
It's a very
if you're
hijink-heavy episode.
Yeah, if you're paying attention, you'll see it.
There is one part where it is a little bit difficult to pay attention. I distinctly remember at one point in the second part, the Groundskeeper subplot.
Yeah.
I remember, like, zoning out.
Oh, can we talk about the groundskeeper? Or are we
Yeah,
gonna...
let's talk about the Groundskeeper
Alright.
right now.
So, I think he was important, and as soon as he wasn't, they, like, killed him off. Because he found the wall, and he also shot that dude, Scarman, in the back. And I figure, like, if he didn't die from being possessed, like, that would have definitely killed him. He just got shot in the middle of the back.
Okay,
But, like, he was there to, like, prove different things for the audience. Like, he had a function. Because Sarah and the doctor don't leave the house. Other than when they go in the TARDIS.
That's true.
So, like... Well, I mean, they do go and find the wall. And then they break down the wall.
Yeah, but you're right, though,
Tear down the
because,
wall.
like, the Groundskeeper is going around, like, establishing the rules
Yeah.
of, like, what can and can't happen with a threat.
You did not know he was gonna have that type of day.
Yeah, and then he gets snoo-snooed to death.
Yeah,
Like
I
she
know.
was above these.
I know, the pectoral muscles
I know.
on those guys.
Pecked to death.
Yeah, and, like, when they're unwrapped, there's, like, nothing to them either. Like, what is the point of that, like, skeletal structure?
Oh, I love it, though. It looks so cool.
Yeah, it's shiny.
It's not that it's shiny, it's that it's, like, really intricate. Like, they put a lot
All
of
I
work...
noticed is that it was shiny.
I
Very
noticed
shiny and big.
there was, like, an exoskeletal frame.
Yeah, I saw that.
There was, like, bronze bones,
Yeah.
like, connecting the arms and the
I
legs.
also saw that,
to, like,
yes.
a wired-up chassis.
pipes,
And I just
yeah.
think about the fact that someone made that
Oh yeah.
All the aesthetics in this are like so strong. It is
really
a little
good, like high school welding project. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just hate their design so much. And like this is coming from someone who like really, really loves this episode as well. Or I keep saying episode, but like I just view the 4 parts as like one episode. Really.
I know.
Like a movie. Really. Felt like that. Like we just kind of watched all of them.
They're all like that. They all kind of feel like that.
Yeah.
They're like
I enjoy that aspect of old Who.
Because that's what people used to do, like back in the 1920s and stuff. They'd go to the theatre and they'd see like serials in the same format as like old Who. And when TV first started, they were like, well, we don't know what to do with format, so let's just do that.
That is something that I'm kind of looking forward to in like this newer season.
Oh, what, of like New Who?
Yeah.
I kind of hope we do go back to something more resembling like the serial. Oh, what, this new season, like season 13? Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too, actually. I'm quite optimistic about that, to be honest.
Yeah, I like that. It's just gonna be all one thing. It's going back to the roots. And, I mean, if it's gonna be her last hurrah, I guess that's the way to go.
We've been very kind of cold on season 11 and season 12 of like the new series, and we're really hoping that this one like knocks it out of the park, because they deserve it, because they tried.
Yeah, I think it's just because, yeah, you know.
And yeah, the fact, yeah,
you know what's gonna happen.
Oh yeah. What you mean, the fact that Russell T Davies is coming back? So like ultimately, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, Pyramids of Mars, Doctor Who, and the Jackal.
We're actually keeping really good pace with what I have written down on my notes.
Okay.
And like we're accidentally doing that.
What do you think of... I have a couple questions for you. All right.
Okay.
I've been thinking about this. So, 2 questions. What do you think of this as a intro to Classic Who? For someone who's only watched New Who?
I think it'd be a bit of a hard watch.
Me too.
To be honest.
Me too. Because I've heard this recommended as one, and like I was on the fence before rewatching it, and after rewatching it, not so sure it would be a good idea.
Yeah, this is good for someone who's a big fan of like Hammer horror.
I think that the issue for me is that Tom Baker is very out of character. It's I think this story is very brutal.
Yeah.
Both in terms of the horror and emotionally as well. Mm-hmm. Because like you were saying about the tragedy of the brothers, we're gonna dig into that a little bit now, right? So, spoiler alert for like a story that's like 30 years old. Watch it, by the way. I think that's a general recommendation here. We both loved the hell out of it, I think.
Yeah, that's why we're reviewing it.
Yeah, watch it. Watch Classic Who if you haven't watched it. It is amazing. If you go into it with the right frame of mind.
Yeah, for sure.
I think this one would not be a good one to start with, but I think it might be a good second or third one. That would be my personal opinion. Because I think the Doctor in this is very, like, out of character to how he usually is. He's very morose in this. And normally the Fourth Doctor is, like, very clownish, and there's, like, kind of like a sad, like, melancholy underneath.
Yeah, they touch on it in the beginning when Sarah Jane is taking the piss out of Tom Baker.
I know, honestly, like...
in his midlife crisis.
If you look at it in the context of the rest of the Fourth Doctor's run, the Fourth Doctor doesn't really like show his real feelings very often. And this is one time where the Fourth Doctor is allowing himself to be vulnerable with his companion and reaching out for help in a way. And his companion rejects it by mocking him.
I don't think he's reaching out for help. But
I think he's subconsciously doing exactly that.
Sure about that.
It's man pain.
Man pain.
Fourth Doctor's going through some real man pain in this story, and you have to get used to him, I think, before you're ready for that.
Yeah.
Because it's very intense. He gives a very good performance in this one, though, like probably one of his like top 3, I'd say.
Yeah, I enjoy the fact that Tom Baker can just turn on a dial.
Me too.
And it's same with Sarah Jane, honestly, because she can go from laughing to screaming. And I enjoy that they work off each other in this.
Me too. I think they start out a little bit bumpy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I also think that Harry maybe shouldn't have left when he did.
Yeah, I really like Harry.
But that's not relevant to this at all.
No.
At all. We're diverging.
I'm sure we'll touch on that at some point.
Maybe at some point. The other question I wanted to ask, there were actually two questions, but we kind of veered off there.
Yeah.
The other question I kind of wanted to ask is a question that I have forgotten, and now I am trying to save up time. Do you remember what the question I asked you was? Oh my god, I remember it now!
Hey.
This is what living with me is like. Anyway, do you think that Sutek would make a good returning villain to New Who?
No.
Why?
I don't think so. I don't think he would be able to be done right. I think it would be overdone. He would be like too villainous, maybe. Like,
I don't really think you can make him any more villainous than he is.
No, I meant like acting wise. Like,
oh, okay. You mean like they get someone
like
who acts like the John Sim master to play him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that totally. I think that the issue with doing Sutek is that Sutek is so tied to one specific actor's voice. Like it's not replicable in a way that like Davros or like Omega or Fembrick are.
Either that or it'd be like Hannibal Lecter with Pro Quo Doctor.
It's very similar energy. It's very whispery and very like in control because it's whispery. You know what I mean? Like I kind of love that about it. It's a very like unique performance. I also think that because the whole point of this story in terms of stakes is that if Sutek gets out, his powers will be enough to overwhelm the rest of the universe. Right?
Yeah. They see that.
Well,
they take that trip.
Okay, but like if he appeared in New Who, there would be an expectation with modern special effects that we see that.
Yeah.
And I think that would look really stupid on a BBC budget.
I agree.
And I think that there's no way to really execute it. Not just on a BBC budget, but honestly, like, because it's meant to be like a metaphysical, extra-dimensional threat.
Yeah.
There's no way to really portray it visually. Like, at all. Like, and have it be satisfying. Like, I don't know, the best you could probably hope for is like that Rings of Akatan episode. Where the Doctor makes the speech to the sun.
Yeah.
Because the sun is bad. Yeah, it would be like that. And
did you know that the moon's an egg?
Yeah. I think that's beautiful. I'm not being sarcastic, I genuinely do. I think it's great. I know you don't. I know most people don't. I know people probably do not feel great about what I just said, but I like the being an egg. I think it's beautiful.
So I want to go back a little bit and talk about how Tom Baker is acting in this.
Yeah, Terminator the Dominator.
Yeah. I keep thinking about he would make a good Dalek. Because at some point, like, Sarah Jane's just
what?
like... No, because... Alright, so Sarah Jane is freaking out because she's just like, a man has died. And Tom Baker is just like, it's been 4 men, 5 if you're counting Scarman. And he's weighing that up.
He's doing the math.
Yeah.
It's never good when the Doctor does the math.
I know. So I don't know. For some reason, it just reminds me of that moment.
And you know what the result of that is, right? Him thinking like a Dalek. Justice once rose. Everybody dies. Yeah, it's one of those. It's real bleak. It's a really, really bleak and cruel story. And, like, a lot of people, I think, would be turned off by it, but I love it.
I know, even...
It's beautiful.
Even in this story, Sarah has, like, this odd bloodlust. Like, I think she kind of does anyway. I feel like she kind of does anyway. Like, when the Doctor has, like, those big decisions to make, whether he destroys something or not.
Oh my god, yeah, that's so true. She's like, do it, Doctor, do it.
I know, literally, she was licking her lips. Like, watch it. Literally, I'm saying this to everyone. Like, watch it. She licks her lips when he's talking about it. And they're, like, waiting for him to, like, come through the thingy. And it's just, I don't know, it's crazy. And, like, she gets off that one shot with the hunting rifle.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
I love the fact that she says to the Doctor when she grabs the rifle, I know what I'm doing, Doctor, and then immediately, like, hovers her face over the barrel of the gun while it's planted in the ground.
I know. It's fine. It's all fine.
Us Brits and our guns. It's really interesting, actually. I think this is another thing that would make it hard to take for people who've only seen New Who. Yeah. Going into Classic Who. If you're watching this one, this is something that's you're going to probably have a little bit of difficulty adjusting to. In Classic Who, what would you say the Doctor's approach to violence is?
I mean, that's hard because
he's a bit more liberal with it. I would say.
I know where you're trying to go with it, but he still kind of has that same.
He's still a pacifist. Yeah, absolutely.
He still has that attitude in New Who that he does in Old Who. I think he's gotten older.
I don't know.
Like, he's not doing karate chops anymore. He just runs a lot. He does a lot of cardio.
Yeah, and it gets people killed. Alright, so for real, here's my argument. The Doctor not using violence in certain situations is morally irresponsible. Here's the scenario. What would happen if someone with a machete just came at Ten and Rose? Just swinging away with intent to cut Billie Piper's head right off her shoulders. Is Ten gonna, like, wave his sonic screwdriver at her? Is he gonna be like, I never would? Is he gonna turn to Rose and go, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, as her head pirouettes through the air and hits the ground? Or is he gonna go, hey, and knock her out? Knock her out? No.
Oh my god.
No, admittedly.
That took a turn.
Well, that's the thing about the Doctor, he always keeps you guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very unpredictable. But for real, like, this is the main point. And if you watch, like, Classic Who, if the Doctor is in situations like that, he will almost universally use violence to get out of them, unless it's beneficial to him for him not to. Like, if he's trying to gain information or something, or if someone else's life is at risk.
Yeah. But in this specific episode,
he hits someone with a chair.
Yeah, but he does refuse the hunting rifle.
Yeah, he does.
Like, I never use them. Like, guns.
I'm pretty sure he uses one, like, a story before this one. 2 stories before or something, like he uses them a bunch, like before this and a few times after this.
Yeah. And
then, I mean, Tom Baker didn't like it, so like they kind of phase it out towards the end of his run.
Yeah.
And then they bring it back with a vengeance. 6 used a gun more than most Doctors who used like a sonic screwdriver.
Speaking of screwdrivers, I like the use of the screwdriver. in the episode.
Me too. It was very well used.
Yeah, diffusing that Egyptian bomb. No, it was like a barrier.
The reason why I liked it is because it came at a cost.
What was the...
So there was the machine. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that was a completely different scene. I'm getting them mixed up. We just saw this story.
I know. What you doing?
What am I doing? I don't
crazy.
know. I don't know.
So we can talk about Scarman and whether or not he is in there.
He's in there.
Yeah, I think.
Like, I asked that at the beginning, but like, it very clearly is established at one point that he's in there, and that's actually something that I love, because normally in a story like this, and this, whether it's Doctor Who or like anything else, right?
Yeah.
Normally in a story like this, you will have the character who's possessed, and the character who's close to the character who's possessed, and the character who's close to the character who's possessed will go like, "Oh, I know you're in there somewhere,"
Yeah.
and it will work, and it doesn't work. In this, what happens to these brothers is one of them murders the other,
Yeah.
and then that one gets his hold released by Sutek, and then he dies and turns to dust.
Well, I mean, it's a metaphor. Sutek and Horus.
Yeah, it is. And it's also very, 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 very cool and brutal.
Brutal.
In the sense that it adds to the overall tone of the story, because this is supposed to be the Doctor facing an opponent that is above anything that he's faced before. This is supposed to be like...
Yeah,
like,
he definitely hypes him up.
Yeah, imagine like Journey's End times like 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what the stakes of this story are. So the fact that they go in so hard with the bleakness and nastiness, like, I'm not trying to say it in like a juvenile kind of way. I'm saying it reinforces this almost kind of Lovecraftian energy of what Sutek is supposed to represent. Like, there's a pervading sense of dread that goes through the entire story, and because it subverts these tropes in really quite like a nasty way, it really adds to that, and it becomes more than the sum of its parts. Another good example would be the character Ibrahim. Yeah, I'm the one that's a reference to Matt Smith. Yeah, you're nodding at me now.
Yes. Yes, I am. Oh, I'm sorry.
But that's actually useless to the people.
Nod.
Yeah.
Nod.
Yeah.
Nod in agreement.
Thank
Nod.
you. That helps a lot. Nod in agreement. I'm glad you're happy.
Happy or glad.
Fantastic. References. References are good. They're a good source of easy comedy for when you don't know what to say.
So, I'm not sure if this is stupid or not, but let's go for it. Did the Doctor make his past's future in the past?
Oh, the stable time loop thing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's really talk about that, actually.
Because he burns down... Well, he lets the building burn. And then we don't know when Unit buys the building or builds on it. Like, how long it stays like that. But, like, if that building didn't burn down, would it be the HQ? Would the Doctor be going back there?
That's a really interesting point.
Right? Kind of blowing my mind right now.
I know.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I'm saying that now, and someone out there is going to be like, this is really stupid.
That's okay. You know what happens when you do that? You let them think that. Doesn't matter if you're right or wrong about it. You plant your feet in the ground and you don't change your opinion no matter what, babe. Because that's the healthy and not toxic thing to do.
Eat that horse.
Yeah, the more you know. We just smiled at each other, and that once again is useless to you.
Yeah, I know.
Completely useless to you, but that's okay. I wanted to talk about how the structure of this story, it's almost like an anti-cosmic horror. Because Sutek, as I said before, is very Lovecraftian, and He's got this huge, big presence to him. Like, he's completely overwhelming and overcoming. And he's the kind of thing that in a lot of H.P. Lovecraft stories, he would be the big thing that's called Ajnav Vinogov or whatever. You know what I mean? A big, unpronounceable, ugly word. Point is, he would be unstoppable, and the story would end with him winning the end. Right? And this is almost like an anti-cosmic horror, because the Doctor pops in and just wins. And if you look at a lot of modern Who, there's this idea that the Doctor has become like a godlike figure, for better or for ill. It's a very complex topic, but that's not the point. The point is, you can kind of see those first steps in this story, because in this story, the Doctor struggles against and overcomes someone immeasurably more powerful than him using just his wit. And I think it's interesting how over the years that has fluctuated into the Doctor beating gods with sonic screwdrivers and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Right now. Like I said before, him like killing an evil son with a speech. Oh wait, no, it was the Leaf that did that. Because that's way better. They just put that on the official Doctor Who YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to that. Support the BBC, support the official release. I wrote timey-wimey on here.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to, my notes are a mess. That goes to the point that you were saying about the stable time loop. A lot of the time in Classic Who, they don't actually use time travel as a plot device. It's just the vehicle to get to this location where the plot is.
Yeah.
But in this, very interesting, you actually have time travel elements that are pivotal to the plot, like you were saying about the stable time loop with the fire. And also, how they defeat Sutekh in the end. Spoiler alert. The Doctor ages him to death, basically.
Yeah, he sends them flying.
In the Tim corridor. It's just interesting to me that I think a lot of influence was taken from this in developing, like, both New, and I think must be a bit of a darling in the expanded media, because it's really weird how many times stuff from this episode you can see like extrapolated into the other ones. We have managed to go 32 minutes and 20 seconds, 21 seconds, 22 seconds without an "Oh, you my mummy" reference. I think that we deserve lots of cake for that. Don't you agree?
Yeah, as long as it's lactose free.
Yeah, so send us some lactose free cake.
Yeah.
So my wife can eat it too.
Hey.
I will eat anything.
Yeah.
That's canon now, by the way.
Yeah, that is definitely canon.
That is.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. The act structure. That's something I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Let's ramble about the act structure for a little bit. We'll probably end up talking about like the Spice Girls or something by the end of this segment, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be able to stay on topic. Maybe not. That's the mystery. So, the act structure of this is really interesting because it's pretty much pitch perfect, in my opinion. If you're going for a traditional 3-act structure, because a 3-act structure, the first act is 25% of the movie, the second act is 50% of the movie, and then the third act is like 25% of the movie. In most things with a 3-act structure, that's how it is, right?
That is true.
Okay, in this, every time there's an act change, the antagonist, who's like central to menacing the main characters, switches over. And it keeps it really pacey and like fresh. Like you don't get bored because of it, basically. Because like in the first part, it seems like Ibrahim is going to be the main threat, and then they bait and switch him right out of there with a bunch of dry ice.
Yeah.
And then Scarman is the main villain from that point forward, right? And then in episode 3, Sutekh, who at this point, even though he's the guy pushing all of the events, has been relatively to the background. Now he's at the forefront. Fourth round?
I don't know.
I'm owning it. He's at the forefront for the final fact of the story, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And See, I did it again there, so that I'm doing it on purpose, so that it's not as embarrassing.
Nice.
Yeah, now I'm pointing that out. So
That's really
like
smooth.
Another level of meta commentary on that. And maybe if I point out the levels on that, then maybe, I don't know, something will happen. Maybe a timey-wimey will happen.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. The point I'm making is that the switching around of focus to antagonists give this story a really good sense of pacing and a really good sense of escalation, because each of those different antagonists is way more dangerous than the one before it. Like, the not Scarman is way more dangerous than Ibrahim was, because he has, like, superpowers and can control the mummies and stuff.
Yeah.
Sutek
Oh my god.
is way more dangerous than Dot Scarman is, because he's Sutek.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I completely forgot to mention this, but we talked about how Scarman is probably like in there, but Sutek is the one controlling him, right?
Yeah.
But like the whole time he's just like, Sutek is so great. He is the master. He's the almighty one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, he's just complimenting himself.
He compliments himself a lot in this.
Like, the whole time. That's what Scarman's there for, actually. Because he's just actually been really lonely.
I know, why does he actually need him?
Oh, well, because he's, like, paralyzed. He can't get up, he can't move around, he can't get out of that room, so...
Okay, but, like, the best he can do is, like, some archaeologist.
I mean, who's gonna stumble on his tomb? Those other
I mean, not an
guys
archaeologist. That would be stupid.
Those other guys were smart enough to turn around.
I know. Archaeologists are the ones who study the stars, babe.
Oh my god. Stop it.
I'm messing. It's okay.
Stop it.
It's okay. It's okay.
Stop that.
It's just a little bit of fun horseplay.
No.
That's all.
No, none
Just
of that.
a little bit of tomfoolery.
Is there anything else that you want to touch upon? Because I feel like we're going off.
No.
Oh, cool.
Actually, let me check. Yeah, I have rated each of the individual episodes individually, except for the last one. Oh, yeah, actually, that is something I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Where does this go in the 4th episode? Like, what happens?
They're just trying to wrap everything up.
Yeah, all right, but like
Like
what?
a mummy.
That was good. That's probably where we should organically end this, but I wanted to make this point. So,
Okay, go for it.
the last episode, this entire thing has been this crazy atmosphere piece that's really like cool because it's enclosed and claustrophobic, and it really like feels dangerous because it's enclosed and claustrophobic. And then they go to Mars, and there's chroma everywhere, and they have to play children's games. And, like, one of the things that's keeping Sutek in prison is these 2 guards, and one of them only tells the truth, and the other only lies! And, whoa! I mean, after, like, the brothers killing each other and stuff,
Yeah.
it's really strange. It's a really odd way to like, resolve this. I personally think that the whole thing should have been in the house. And they should have just had all the resolution and wrap up in the house.
I mean,
Sutek tries to get out, he can't get out.
it technically did wrap up in the house.
I know, which only strengthens my point that all that stuff doesn't need to be there. Because the resolution still works.
It's about the journey.
I know, and the journey took a weird, wonky place in like a place where it's critical for it to be congruent with the rest of the journey. So, change the journey, maybe.
So I'm thinking overall.
Overall, though, that's just like me thinking it should be different, and like my perspective and my opinion, and like that's irrelevant. If you look at its actual place as a story on its own, it is fantastic overall.
What are we rating it?
Like a 9 out of 10 for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll agree with that. It's definitely a solid 9 out of 10.
Like, if I'm rewatching an episode of Classic Who, Pyramids of Mars is like one of the first ones I'll go to.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah?
It's one of my favorites. It's up there. I mean, Pertwee's my favorite Doctor, but we'll get to that. Tom Baker is up there as well, though.
Yes.
Along with this episode.
He would have just karate chopped Sutek.
Yeah, I know. Just throat chopped him.
I know. That would have been it.
Took off his little head.
That would have been Roger Delgado. Bye.